say to yourselves, when you're supposed to be the party of due process, when you have a wrong man in the El Salvadorian prison, where where brutality is every day, then I guess and the judges in the federal courts told you to release this man, and that administration is fighting to keep him there. That is not due process. This this inept this inept administration is not for due process, and they went as low as it can go. This is the one of the worst and most unprofessional administrations of all time. You can fight me on that, but this is so inept, so disgusting. It makes my blood boil. And for them to do this is disgusting. To say this never happened, put your head back up your ass. Well, it really did happen. Because you're fucking it, because everybody in this country, these MAGA morons, they're oh my god, they're so fucking pathetic. And this administration is so inept. And I can't defend this shit anymore. From Huffington, from HuffPost, the wife of a Maryland man who was deported to El Salvador by mistake, said she and her family were forced to move to a safe house after the Department of Homeland Security exposed her address on its official X account. This is unprofessional. Jennifer Vasquez Sura told the Washington Post, "I don't feel safe when the government posts my address, the house where my family lives, for everyone to see, especially when this case has gone viral and people have all sorts of opinions." This is sad because Vasquez's husband, Zora's husband, Gilmar Abrego Garcia, was one of hundreds of immigrants this inept clown's administration has sent to a notorious prison in El Salvador in March. However, the administration admitted in court that Abrego Garcia's deportation was a mistake due to an administrative error. I am shocked and dumbfounded by Donald Trump's insanity. This clown and his officials have since refused to take steps to bring him back to the United States and to fight a court order to do so, instead characterizing him as an MS-13 gang member. Because Abrego Garcia has denied membership in the international gang and has not been convicted of any crime. This is Donald Trump's stupidity at its finest. And they become more insane and more unprofessional that this has to happen. In an attempt to portray Abrego Garcia as dangerous, DHS under Secretary Kristi Noem posted a copy of a protective order filed by Vasquez Jura against her husband in 2021. The document included her family's home address. This is unprofessional. This is insane. The Department Post read, Gilmar Abrego Garcia has a history of violence and was not the upstanding Maryland man the media has portrayed him. According to court filings, Garcia's wife sought a domestic violence restraining order against him, claiming he punched, scratched, and whipped off her shirt, among other harm. This is inept. This is inept. Of course, when Vasquezora, a U.S. citizen, addressed the protective order in a statement to multiple news outlets, saying she'd gotten into a disagreement with her husband and acted out of caution after surviving domestic violence in a previous relationship. And she said the statement read, "Things did not escalate, and I decided not to follow through with the civil court process. We were able to work through the situation privately as a family, including going to counseling." However, Vasquezora told the Washington Post that ever since DHS posted her address to millions of her followers online, she began fearing for her family's safety. She noted that verbal attacks from this inept clown, his officials, and Salvadorian President Nayib Bukele have all made her feel more afraid. The DHS post is still up on X and has received some backlash. The department told HuffPost in an email that said that Vasquez-Zora's protective order is public information that anyone can get access to. Totally unprofessional and totally inept. And I had to take a look at this and see if it's true or not. I agree that this is pathetic. I mean, I cannot. This exposes it. The address is out there for everyone to see. To label someone as a violent MS-13 gang member is absolutely asinine. They are liars. This is a fucking group of liars. This country has voted for a liar. This man is a lot, and this country has turned into the safe haven of fucking liars. Donald Trump's a fucking liar. Kristi Noem's a fucking liar. Even the press secretary is a fucking liar. And everyone's kissing their asses to defend this shit. Totally asinine. Brian Krasenstein said, well, on X, outrageous. The wife of Kilmore Abrego Garcia, a Maryland man wrongfully deported, has been forced into a safe house after the U.S. government posted their home address online. Yes, you heard that right. It's danger. This is dangerous. It's a violation of basic decency, privacy, and safety, and all because this family dared to seek due process. My God, and then there's fucking morons on social media saying the wife of Kilmore Abrego Garcia illegally came into our country back in 2011. Oh, there, fixed it up. He's a big dummy. That is a big dummy. This is what pisses me off. If anybody who supported someone who is against the law, against due process, then congratulations. You just fucked yourselves over big time. You just fucked yourselves over big time. You belong to think. I am sick and tired of this government. I'm sick and tired of this government. I am sick and tired of this inept moron running the show. And the people who voted for him, they're getting what they deserve. Egg prices are lower, but the sanity is even lower. And I can't believe it. And yeah, that's saying much. That's really saying much. Stock prices is going up. But yeah, because because we're probably getting more money from Saudi Arabia thanks to Donald Trump's idiocy. But then came the big one. I guess another one from HuffPost. A federal judge ruled Wednesday that a second man must be returned from the El Salvador mega prison where he was hastily deported by this inept clown's administration in March. The man, referred to in court documents under the Suedem Christian, was among those swept up by immigration officials and flown to a brutal facility where inmates are told they will never leave. This kid, Christian, is 20, is a native of Venezuela. Of course, this inept administration has already been ordered to facilitate the return of another man who was on the flights, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, although he has remained in El Salvador while the administration fights to keep him there. This is an inept organization. This isn't an unprofessional organization. Of course, in Christian's case, Trump appointed Stephanie Gallagher, nodded to Abrego Garcia, and said, this court will order defendants to facilitate Christian's return to the United States. But yes, you heard that right. A Trump-appointed judge is for due process. This inept clown isn't. To Mike Johnson is begging for us, saying these Donnie boys working to dismantle the D state and return America back to the people. And you can stand with this clown and his suck ass speaker Mike Johnson. I would say I could tell them to go fuck themselves. The utmost material goes again. Her order came in response to an emergency motion made in a class action suit originally filed back in 2019 against the Department of Homeland Security, which included Christian among its plaintiffs. The parties reached a settlement in 2024 stipulating that they could remain in the country while their individual asylum claims were processed in the courts. All have been brought into the country as children. Of course, Gallagher wrote that facilitating Christian's return includes, but is not limited to, a good faith request to the government of El Salvador to release Christian to U.S. custody for transport back to the United States to await the adjudication of his asylum application on the merits of the USCIS, or the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. She further ordered the administration not to remove any other individuals covered by the settlement agreement. Of course, Gallagher noted that all parties involved viewed the challenge to Christian's removal as a breach of contract rather than a challenge to this inept clown's use of the Alien Enemies Act to summarily deport immigrants he views as dangerous. Donald Trump, like I said, he's inept. And everything I told you, he's fucking inept. The Justice Department is likely to fight the order. Christian has been convicted in Texas on a drug possession charge in January and was swiftly transferred to the custody of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, where he might have remained while his asylum claim was processed. He was flown out of the country on March 15th as the Trump administration branded him as a member of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Donald Trump is a fucking idiot. We knew that from the word. I knew that from the word. Of course, the president's controversial use of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 involved claiming that Tren de Aragua's gang members are functionally at war with the United States and can be removed as alien enemies. And Trump and administration officials have already been issuing taunting messages in defiance of the orders surrounding Abrego Garcia, saying that he will never come back to the United States. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, Vice President J.D. Vance, and others have misleadingly claimed Abrego Garcia to be a member of a gang, although they say he is a part of MS-13, not the TDA. This is pathetic. You guys have voted for an inept clown, and this inept administration is destroying this country one brick at a time. I wouldn't be surprised if China comes in and takes over this country. We might as well fight back, but This and that, but considering that we have a clown that's fucking inept, this is insane. Abrego, and also includes Abrego Garcia has been protected from deportation to his nation of origin, El Salvador, by a 2019 court order that determined he could face persecution by the gangs there. By continuing to defy the courts, this administration is teeing up a constitutional crisis that pits executive powers against those allotted to the judiciary. Of course, last weekend, the Supreme Court made the unusual move of issuing a late night order barring the administration from conducting any more deportations under the Alien Enemies Act for now. This and that clown, these, and then there's and that clown. You guys have been inept. You people are clowns. And I guess I can say this up front. I'm very unhappy with this organization. I'm unhappy with this country. When you lie, you lie. When you lie, you make people think less. This country is full of idiots, and this country is full of whack jobs and morons. They're all about fight, fight, fight. Guess what? Imagine Russia to take over this country, and but we won't submit to him. You guys are idiots. You guys are total idiots. And for those who for due process, I commend you. But for those who don't, you can go fuck yourselves. I will see you all next time. Like what you see? Buy me a damn coffee. Link in description. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks a lot. Watch more right here.